I agree that we should have an age limit for when presidents should not be eligible to run at their age. Now, President Biden is 79 years old, and he would be 83 at the time of his inauguration if he wins a second term. Now, if he had served the two full terms, he would leave office at the age of 87 if he's still alive by then. That is. Former squatter Donald Trump is 75, and should he run again and cheat to win, he'll be 79 years old when sworn in and 83 by the end of his squatting of that second time. At these ages, most families are trying to figure out how to take their dad or mom's car keys away from them. But under the Constitution, we would be obliged to hand over the keys to the Oval Office, the world's most powerful and demanding office. Shouldn't there be an age limit on who can run for squatter or president? The Constitution already specifies a minimum age to become president at 35, which means you can't run before 35. The framers obviously thought that setting the minimum age was necessary to ensure that the nation's chief executive would be relatively mature and have some political and military experience to call on. And while they knew that there could be 25-year-olds equally ready to assume the office's powers and duties, they were unwilling to open the door to such brilliant exceptions precisely because exceptions are not the norm, and a constitution cannot take chances if it wants to last over time. Nowadays, we certainly live longer and lead generally healthier lives, whether from better habits or the prescriptions that fill up our medicine cabinets, but it's still inescapable that as we get older, virtually all of us will slow down mentally and physically, and here too there are a few exceptions. Everyone has heard about the grandfather still playing pickup basketball on the city playground, a grandmother still pounding out her umpteenth novel. Nonetheless, a governing document should not presume luck in the genetic lottery. Nor does the test of America's prolonged presidential campaigns guarantee voters will have an accurate handling and a candidate's mental and physical health. The campaigns are good at hiding whatever problems exist, and voters rarely see anything but the best in their preferred candidate. But even if the public had access to thorough and honest medical records of the candidates, those records cannot guarantee a president's or squatter's future mental and physical health. Now, moreover, as we know now, the fact that a president or squatter is not well rarely becomes public at any particular time. Now, hold on. Now, arguably, the existing failsafe is the 25th Amendment, which allows an alien president or squatter to step down in favor of his or her vice president, or if unwilling to do so, a mechanism by which the vice president and a majority of the cabinet give notice to the Congress that the vice president will be assuming the office's powers and duty. But this process has its own flaw. Presidents or squatter really believe that they're not up to the job, no matter how sick, and getting the cabinet made up of presidential appointees to engage in a soft coup, especially against an unwilling president rallying his own partisans against the effort, is a very steep and convoluted hill to climb. And it seems better to head off reliance on this messy and uncertain process by amending the Constitution to set an age limit on who can become president or squatter. And drawing that exact line, I would say the cutoff age should be 70. And it will admittedly be judged as being arbitrary. All lines of this kind are, but arbitrary does not mean unreasonable or based on a judgment of what generally makes sense. Now, when Ronald Reagan was elected president in '81, he was 69, and it wasn't until Trump became. Ronald Reagan was until Trump the oldest president to ever get elected at 69, and by the end of his second term, he was no longer, as some have noted, functioning like the Gipper because he was suffering from dementia, like Alzheimer's, basically. The presidency is unique among our system of separated powers in that, unlike Congress and the Supreme Court, it is never out of session. But the reason the founding generation determined that the president alone should have a house is that the chief executive's job is 24/7. They don't get a break, really. Perhaps when life expectancy was shorter, that sorry. It's just perhaps when the life expectancy was shorter, the Constitution's framers thought that there was no need to put a cap on how old a person might be to be president or squatter. But that is no longer the case, and we're rolling the dice by ignoring that change and the obvious downsides of having no limit on how old a president can be. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.